It's all in good fun, all in good opinions, but I just want to say one thing before we actually get to that. I just want to mention, like Frank, I hear you on the, and we can do those kind of debates all day, every day.
Okay.
But I have to agree with something that the great Dr. J said in regards to those kinds of questions. He was on, I think it was ESPN First Take, and they asked him his top five. Like you just said, who's your top five?
Love it.
What he said was he gave his top five first, but what he said, his reasoning for his top five was, he said, you asked me my top five, so I have to give you what I know.
Yes.
So, like in his top five, it was like Elgin Baylor, you know, guys
Oscar.
like that, Oscar. When he said, but these are the guys that I know. These are the guys that made me fall in love with the game of basketball. So, like I said, those things, all those questions are fun, and that's what they're supposed to be fun. But a lot of people tend to take them and get real heated with them. But the key word in that question is your, and it's your top five. Like, so you can't be mad at me because I got Tupac in my top five and you know, or I got Biggie in my top five and you know. But what makes the debate fun and what makes it valid is the simple fact that you have to have somebody that can debate or prove their point as to why. Like we were just talking, like Baldy said, Tupac got albums on top of albums on top of albums. Dime chimed in and said, "We got stuff. Tupac got stuff that we probably ain't never gonna hear."
True.
You know, and it was a comparison, a little comparison him and Biggie, and then he said Biggie only had the two albums. So it can go a lot of ways, but it makes it fun, like you said, when you have it that way, when you have somebody that can say, "Well, I don't have him in my top five because this, and this," as opposed to just saying, "Well, he's not in my top five because he wasn't as good as him." Kid,
you gotta tell me why.
You gotta tell me why.
Yeah,
Exactly. So let's get back into this Pittsburgh Steelers game. Now, we talked about the plays, we talked about the catch or the non-catch, and then we went through, you know, we said, like they said, it's the letter of the law, and we all know, like I know me, Frank, and Bart, we're a little older than Dom, so we know, and Dom may know still, not saying that you that young, but the game has changed so much where we say, us three are going to immediately say the game, the NFL game is soft right now. Dom, I don't know how long you've been watching, you might say the same thing, but as far as us three, it's soft. From coming up 80s, late 70s, early 80s, when we watched football, when we played football. Today's game is soft. And
you can't be dirty no more.
They got all these rules where
protect the quarterback.
they protect the quarterback, and you got some of these rules that you have, and they go by like we said, the letter of the law. Who hurt teams with their hurt teams, you know? And I said the comparison, the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday with Jesse James and the catch that we thought was a catch, and they ruled it a non-catch. Then you finally understand, you finally get the wording behind the letter of the law, and it says you have to successfully survive the ground. And if you don't understand what I mean, folks, that means even if you fall, like he fell on his one knee, and you're going to say he was not touched or he did get, he wasn't touched, he extended the ball across the plane, but he had to complete it because he was still falling. So as he was still falling, the ball came loose, therefore it was incomplete. And I said it goes back to the Dez Bryant Green Bay 2 years ago. The same thing happened. Dez caught it, he rolled, bobbled a little bit, hit the ground, and it popped out.
That's
you know. Now, I think that rule needs to be changed because in a wide receiver or in a football player's mind, I cross the goal, I hit the ground, I'm down. It's a touchdown. I mean, especially at that point, as far as in the end zone. If I go in the end zone and dive and fall in the end zone, the ball comes loose, it's a touchdown. Now, who's to say that it's not the same thing if I run
back
and I get there like people have done, and I do a flip and flip into the end zone and fall and the ball comes out? That's still a touchdown. If anybody can debate me, 267-368-5328. If anybody knows different, call us up and let us know. But as far as I know, that's still a touchdown. So where's the difference? And let's just go with the game we're talking about and what Jesse James did yesterday. Because like Frank, you mentioned then, he fell to the knee. He was not touched, so he can still go. He extended the ball over the plane. They say ball only has to cross the plane.
Not that hard.
Because you see it. And another thing we compare it to, you see a lot of times running plays tight goal line. Guys get in there, stick the ball across the plane, snatch it
it's
back,
a rebate for that
and they
back.
call that a touchdown.
So, like you said, it's just defining what is a touchdown. Nobody knows what a touchdown is anymore.
Absolutely.
You don't know what a touchdown
And that's
is.
the problem.
And it's crazy how they create all these rules. Basically, these rules, especially a lot of the rules about, you know, hitting defenseless players and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They create these rules to minimize injuries.
Right.
But I really want to see the numbers on injuries, whether it increase or decrease. Because look, I can go down the list. People still out questioning. Out. You can go down the list.
And look at all the season-ending injuries that we had.
And so what it's doing as a football player, I only play high school football. I was a safety.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that if you came across that middle, you get hit. I don't care if you getting the ball or not. You getting hit.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how they created a dialogue in the defender's mind that I gotta allow this guy to make a move before I hit him. So you're no longer an instinctive player.
You uneven the game plan.
You get me? Like you tell football players to go on that field to read and react.
Yeah, at that
Instinct.
point,
Use your instincts.
You unlevel.
You
You
can't
unlevel
now.
the playing field.
Now I want to run through you,
Right.
but I might get thrown out of the game.
Right.
Right, hit you a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to put a shoulder
Mm-hmm.
into your shoulder, and if I lift my head up, they hit you. Now
Yeah,
I
you
got 15 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That could be
possible
the
ejection.
deciding factor in the game.
Yeah, and a possible ejection.
You know what I'm
Possible
saying?
suspension.
So you have created a two-hand touch league.
Yeah. Rough touch.
Back in the day, you just grab somebody by their collar, boom, get them out of
Raiders,
there.
Steelers.
Go back and look at how many guys in the 80s got tackled by their collar, right?
Whole bunch.
Now, how many of them really got hurt?
Not really.
Many.
Not many.
So this Infamil and this Similac league,
Less than
guys
50.
getting dragged and now they tear the
You might
ACL.
as well play in bowl right.
You out for the year after somebody grabbed you by the
Yeah.
collar.
You might
Brittle
as well
bones.
play
They got brittle bones.
Yeah.
Now dudes back in the day got tackled. They got laid out back in the day.
I saw
Yes,
those
they did.
films. Yeah.
It's just crazy, man. So they create rules. You know, the league wants to see teams score more points.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell the defense, here's what you can't do. Listen, man, they literally every year, they have a meeting. Teams have meetings on the rules that change every year. The rules change every single year.
That's a shame.
Which is, so you never get a hold
Right.
on what the actual core is of rules. Because it's always, it's like a Rubik's Cube, man. It's always changing.
Always. And they're always, like we said, the narrative is always confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they give it to you one way, and like we said, we see it all the time. They give it to you one way, and then the play happens, and the coaches automatically say, "Well, look, when this is going on, this is what's happening. This is how it's supposed to be. This is what the rule book says." Then you get that no, but they're all that saying that saves them.
Right.
The letter of the law says you have to successfully survive the ground. Like, what is that? What is surviving the ground?
Guys,
Explain that
bring
to
it
me.
in. This year, they changed that rule from last year. So we're going back to the year before. We
They
can do
only
this now.
changed to the running back.
We can do this now.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, well last year we couldn't do that. Okay, next year we're not going to be able to do this.
yeah.
Like what?
You know,
Like,
this
it's
is
crazy.
This is a great discussion, and this is a great segue into a topic we got coming up later.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They don't have. It's not a big issue with the running back does that, like the flip thing.
Yeah.
How many times y'all saw an instant replay when the guy flipping in the end zone?
Flips,
Nothing.
falls
So what
right
is
there,
what's the difference?
the ball pops
Yeah.
out. It's a touchdown.
Once that football touches that line,
Touchdown. Broke the
Touchdown.
plane.
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
It
touchdown.
doesn't even have to go all the way across
What's so
the
hard
white line.
about
It
it?
just has to be
Because
a part of the white line.
in order for you to eat, like you said, you got guys that get to the goal line, they reach out,
Yeah.
snatch it back. It's a touchdown. So you telling me that a guy,
Who did it? Carolina guy last
listen,
week.
quarterbacks do
guys
it
do
on
it.
quarterback sneaks. You know, you get to
Brady all the
Dude,
time.
everybody
the
does.
Giants
First
did it
down.
against the Eagles. The number
Yeah.
12 dude did it against the
Yeah.
Eagles. He
Right.
dove and dropped the ball, hit the power line, the ball popped out.
Brady
was a
do it
touchdown.
all the
It's a
time.
touchdown.
Sometimes he don't have a jump. First down.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why people do it is because they know, all I need is to know some
That's
football.
all it is.
That's it.
Or they think that's all.
And
think
that's
all
the
that they
problem.
Come out and
need.
everything.
The problem
That's
is
exactly right.
everybody does it because they think that's the
what-
rule.
That's all they need.
Because you've been told this is the rule,
Mhm.
and now when you do it, they say not a touchdown.
Right.
What do you mean? They've been doing this for 100
Absolutely.
years in the
How many
league.
times Cam Newton did it and it's a touchdown? Regardless if the guy hit the
it's-
ball or
it's-
not.
You know,
Touchdown.
it's a whole
Too
bunch
many
of
times.
things.